think you're playing football? Do you think you're playing football? Do you think you're playing football? You are showing me nothing.
Fires, Mike Sims, Walker, knocked down.
Oh my God! Davis is going running all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again.
Jackson takes it himself. Look at him dart back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankles.
I have never seen this before in my life.
Still looking, firing, near corner. It's caught.
Denver, unbelievable.
And welcome to the Fourth Down Fiasco.
Hola y bienvenido to escuchando al Fourth Down Fiasco podcast. Estoy tu anfitrión, El Diablo Guapo, Jordan Pryor, a.k.a. Papi Chulo, the lover of Big Culo. You heard me? Yeah, I agree. That was the worst intro that we've had on this podcast to this point. And if you couldn't tell, which I'm sure all of you probably could, I'm not a native Spanish speaker, pero lo intento. Look, I just finished a 14-hour day. I gotta entertain myself somehow, because if I don't, I might just cry on this pod. It's just me for this intro, no Danny or Tanner. Both of them are currently conducting interviews right now for next week's show. And since this show is going to be well over an hour and a half long, I told them that I would just do the intro and they could have at least part of their night back. As always, we ask that you rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, share it with your friends, and follow us on social media. We are at @4thdown_pod on Twitter and at Fourth Down Fiasco on TikTok and Instagram. That is at Fourth Down Fiasco on TikTok and Instagram. You know what? I screwed up the handle, but I'm not re-recording because I'm tired. Look, we've got a really exciting slate of interviews today from rival fan bases, which, you know, makes it extra spicy. And you know what it is. We've been giving power back to the fans. And yeah, again, these interviews ran a little long. This pod's going to be over an hour and a half. And with that, I'm going to stop wasting y'all's time. Let's go ahead. Let's get into it. It's 4th down and goal to go, my friends. And today, we're going to win this shit. Because if we don't, I might just cry. Let's get it.
Yeah. Hey. They tell the truth. How you settle in? Your team is veterans. So how you cope with where you sit this season? Better spin, better rhetoric. A tale as great as teams have been. I ask the question of you now to see the thoughts you spin. FANBASE Fiasco. Don't think that I'm irrational. My team better than your team, and that's just facts, bro. We've been examples. Don't think this year don't mean much. This legacy you talking about. Let me tell you about my team, son.
All right, and welcome to our off-season segment, FANBASE Fiasco, part of the Fourth Down Fiasco Network. See, I made that sound really impressive. If you liked our intro song, that is from Cam Hayden. You can find his music on Apple Music and Spotify. You can also buy his book, Working on the Process, on Amazon. Now, with us today is a die-hard Titans fan, and if we're being honest, to be a Titans fan, you have to be a die-hard. So we've got Dean Costa with us. Dean, say hello to the people.
Hey, how you guys doing? Ready for the draft and the upcoming season?
There we go. Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
All right,
One
Dean,
thing you look forward to as a Titans fan.
Yeah, right, the draft.
It's always a high pick, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to kick us off, Dean. So how does it feel to have wasted a generational talent at running back?
Yeah, I feel awful. You know, I hope he goes somewhere next year, maybe like the Ravens, Eagles maybe, and hopefully he gets a chance to, maybe the Cowboys gets a chance at a Super Bowl. He deserves it. Like, we do that, like Chris Johnson, like before him, he ruined his too. Like,
yeah,
my gosh, yeah. That was a guy who, if y'all could have used him correctly, basically could have been a freak at running back. Like,
he was a freak.
Something, yeah.
His angles, like these defenders had crazy angles on him, and they still couldn't get him. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's just that fast.
So moving in with that, kind of talking about Chris Johnson, I'm assuming that probably has a little bit to do with maybe why you're a Titans fan, but how did you become a fan of your team?
Oh, man. I always get this question. I was like 9-10 years old. I was at a family party. I wasn't too much into football at the time, so we were watching the Buffalo Bills, Tennessee Titans playoff game, the Music City Miracle. And I watched Steve McNair, and after that game, I kind of just fell in love and was a fan ever since. Steve McNair, basically, the one that turned me.
That's a good first game to get into football, man.
Yeah.
So then was Steve McNair your favorite player to watch throughout your lifetime?
Oh,
or was it
yeah.
someone else?
I love Steve McNair, yeah. He's basically the main reason.
Did you ever get to see him play in person?
Unfortunately not, no. I have a funny story about that. I lived in Massachusetts. We had season tickets, so I got to choose to go to a game. It was a Jaguars game. It was kind of crappy snow game. So the Titans played the Pats that year in the playoffs. So my mom said, "Oh, it's not fair to your brother, so he should go to this game." I'm like, hey, he's not even a Titans fan. So I got to miss my only chance to go see Steve McNair. So yeah, I was kind of upset about that.
What a shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
That game was a heartbreaker too. So, but.
Well, if anything ever happens to the family, you just point to your brother and be like, "Hey, he's the favorite. He can go solve this problem right now."
Yeah, my only shot. I always give him crap about it too. I'm like, you ruined my only shot to see my favorite player ever.
Love the brotherly love. So
okay. Oh, sorry. Do you want to go into yours or?
No, I didn't know if you were gonna go ahead and dive into actual real questions now with us, but I'll let you go.
All right, so we got the next one. So, what was your favorite moment of the season?
This season, I have to say the Will Levis Falcons game when he threw 4 touchdowns kind of gave me some hope actually for this year. And I'll say that it's probably. Unfortunately, there wasn't many good moments this year, but I would say that's the best moment.
Well, then, to be more on the negative side of it, what was the worst moment then? What made you want to break your TV as a Titans fan?
That was a lot. I would say the game we played against the Texans, where we're wearing the Oilers gear. We're supposed to beat them with our Oilers gear, and we lost, and it backfired awfully.
Hey, at least you looked good losing, though.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. Y'all looked great losing.
Yeah. We're 1-1 with them, so we'll see how they do for the next year if we wear them.
We'll see. We shall see. I mean, they're probably that's probably my favorite uniform in the NFL.
Yeah,
right now, personally, it's clean. It's pretty nasty.
So, kind of moving into what we're going to expect in the future, right, with the Titans, is how are you feeling about the Brian Callahan hire as the new head coach?
That was my guy. That was my first choice. There's also a plus 14 bet nod, 1,400 bet nods on him, and I took that as well, so can't complain. But yeah, I love going the offensive that way.
And what do you think that he brings to the table that maybe Vrabel didn't during his time with Tennessee?
I think he'll get a lot more out of Will Levis than Vrabel could have. Vrabel's he's a good defensive coach. Offensively, he'll need some assistance, but the thing with him, he was too loyal to his coaches. If a coach wasn't cutting it, he would never get rid of him. He would keep going. Just left tackle was like a turntable. They tried new guys, it wouldn't work. He said it had stability, and he wasn't having it.
Gotcha. I mean, I will say, yeah, y'all's defense has been really good, but I expected more from Will Levis as well this year. I mean, I know that there was the whole thing about he ended up not being a first-round draft pick and all this other stuff, but I at least from what I saw from him in college, he's a talented individual. I think he has it. Yeah, do I think that he's going to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL one day? Maybe fringe. I don't know if he'll ever be top 3, but you don't need that. We've talked so many times on this pod before about how it is like Pat Mahomes, and then there's a giant gap
between everybody else.
Yeah. And so you don't necessarily need that to win a Super Bowl. You need a good, competent quarterback who can make plays and, that has enough wiggle and athleticism to get things done and, kind of make the bullshit plays that you just kind of scratch your head and go, how did he do that? And I think Will Levis has that, honestly.
And it's also smart by Tennessee, too, to bring in an offensive-minded coach when you have such a young quarterback.
Oh, definitely. That's what I wanted. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just going to say, y'all already have the established defensive culture. I feel like that it should carry over.
I think so.
As long as guys are prepared for the season, I think your defense will still be good.
Yeah, I like the guy we got from the Ravens secondary coach, Denard Wilson. I think he'll be great for our defense.
It's usually a safe bet poaching coaches from the Ravens.
Yeah.
It usually works out pretty well for everybody.
They had a great defense for I don't even know how long. I can't remember the last time they didn't have a good defense since like the Ray Lewis days.
And then this isn't a question we had marked down, but definitely just something I'm curious about. I see a lot of Titans fans absolutely hate the Ravens. Are you in that same boat? Are you can't stand them?
Yeah, I'm in that boat. Yeah,
all right, we'll get along then.
I still remember that. I think it was 2008 playoff game against them. I think Chris Johnson had like 100 yards in the first quarter total, and Ed Reed twisted his ankle in the bottom of the pile. And I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that game. I think we were 13-3 that year. We were supposed to win the Super Bowl, and we were out in the first game in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but that's why I'll never forgive him.
No,
that's how I feel about I will never like Pittsburgh. Sorry, Tanner, but as a Cowboys fan, I've seen Polamalu hurt plenty of my players before. Granted, not from anything dirty, just because he just used to hit the absolute dog shit out of people. But,
great player.
Oh my gosh,
the timing he had on the snaps were unbelievable.
Oh yeah. You never questioned if he was going to get the open field tackle or not. He was, and he was going to rock you. It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
His ability to track, elite. But speaking of elites, so we were talking about Will Levis a little bit and kind of what his ceiling is. Based off of your response, it sounds like you think that he can be a franchise quarterback, which I think I agree with you. So, do you think that he can be a franchise quarterback for y'all?
I think so. Yeah, I think he has the skills, the smarts, and the intensity this guy has is unbelievable. He can bring a team and want them to run through a wall. So I think if he's coached up correctly, have the right pieces, I think he can be the guy.
Cool. Yeah, and overall, would you say that the fan base is happy to see him take the Ryan Tannehill role essentially of QB1?
Yeah, I think we kind of got sick of Tannehill. He's a good quarterback during the regular season, but in the playoffs, he just chokes. I don't know what it is.
I think his particular style of play is just a little too wild to work in a playoff situation, at least in a deep playoff run. He's definitely a guy that can make things happen, but there's just a kind of a wild, untamed element to his game that I think Will Levis plays a little bit more composed, even with being a rook. I think that he just kind of has a cool, calm presence about him, which is pretty good to have.
Yeah,
you're also raising your ceiling a lot by getting off of Tannehill. I mean, Tannehill very much felt like he had the Alex Smith ceiling.
Yeah, he didn't look good at all last year. He couldn't move, especially with the terrible offensive line that we have now. It's not a good combination.
Definitely.
So we'll stop ripping on Tannehill a little bit. We'll rip on somebody else a little bit more. Was Malik Willis the worst QB you've ever watched?
Oh man, I hate to say, I think he was. When he first got drafted, I had my hopes were high for him, But then it finally settled in. This guy, he won't be a good quarterback. After seeing last year the Chiefs game, I'm like he doesn't have it. So I was glad when we saw that we went up and got Levis last year, because Willis isn't it.
That QB draft class was terrible, man. At least you guys didn't pick yours in the first round.
Yeah,
we're still dealing with our bust.
I think Pickett, he's not looking too great.
No, not at all.
Yeah. It's still young. We'll see if he turns it around. But Malik definitely does not have it.
He's not that guy.
Yeah, no, I hope he's not on the team anymore, but we'll see how the new regime does.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a good segue into the next thing we got, because, you have the new regime coming in. The Titans actually have an insane amount of free agents this year. So from what I was looking it up, they currently have 19 unrestricted free agents. Of those 19, do you want to see who do you want to see return the most, and who are you most okay with letting walk?
Honestly, I think I'm most okay with letting most of them walk. I think we just need. I think those are Rabel players. I think we need to have Callahan players. I think it's a big. We need to rebuild. We need to turn around because last year it was a fight between Carthon, our GM, and Vrabel. He wanted to keep trying to fight and compete. Carthon wanted to rebuild, so we went with Vrabel's idea, and I think that's what got him fired. So I think we should do a rehaul, and not many players should come back.
And kind of piggyback off that, are you shocked at this point to not see Vrabel have a job? Or
yeah, after all the talk around the league, like saying he won't last long, like give it 2 weeks, he'll be snatched up. I was surprised that he wasn't even. I don't think he even got like a second. Did he get a second interview with anybody? I'm not sure, but yeah, him and Belichick.
Yeah, well, and I think the big difference between the two of them, I understand why franchises aren't bringing on Belichick, just because with a pedigree that high, the culture shock would be insane for any team in this league. Just because the way that he has established the locker room with the Patriots, he is such a no nonsense, old school individual that the league is kind of transitioning away from coaches like that, and he's kind of the last of his kind. And I think that with the current culture of the NFL, it would be very disruptive to bring him onto a team because, and rightfully so, he would demand greatness, respect, and everything else the moment he steps foot in there. And he will be the alpha, and there will be guys who are going to be very upset about that. And so but Vrabel, it doesn't have the same pedigree. I figured that he would have, at least gotten like a DC position or something. Because I feel like he has, a real good nose for defensive football. Honestly, I was kind of I figured there would at least be someone who would bring him on as a DC, just because I think that what he brings to the table for defense is still superb.
I agree. I was very surprised. Maybe next year, maybe one of the year off. Who knows?
And we still have time. Who knows? He might also get a college job. I feel like maybe being a college head coach might do him well. Yeah, something like that.
I think the most recent rumor was Wisconsin.
Oh,
I don't know if that will end up happening, but I think they were saying he would head coach there. So.
Yeah, well, I'd love to see it. I think that he would do really well in that kind of a scene. So, Dean, you had mentioned basically that with all of these free agents, you're okay with pretty much everyone going. That you're okay and you're ready for the rebuild.
Yeah.
So I would presume that means also saying goodbye to Derrick Henry, right?
Unfortunately, yes. I think I love Derrick Henry. We
all do.
Yeah, I don't think he just will fit this offense that we're about to run. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I hope he goes on a contender that will give him a chance to get a ring because he deserves it. He's a hell of a back. And honestly, the Titans have had some great backs. We got him, Chris Johnson, Earl Campbell. And we've been lucky for that. Unfortunately, it hasn't been QBs.
Yeah, the QB heavy league, that's tough.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tanner.
No, you're good. We'll move more into the kind of weird Titans, Oilers, a little bit of history and a little bit here. But I am curious, you mentioned Earl Campbell. Do you see Warren Moon as one of the Titans guys? Do you have any kind of connection to Warren Moon? Because he's probably the best if we consider old Oilers teams as Titans, right? That's probably the best QB in your guys' history. It's undoubtedly the best QB in your guys' history.
I would agree. Yeah, if they counted that, I would definitely agree that Warren was definitely. I didn't really watch him when I was live when he was playing, but going back watching tapes, man, he was an amazing player. And I definitely agree. He's definitely number one for the quarterbacks.
So, kind of last part we'll bring up with Derrick Henry. How do you see this offense looking now that he's gone? Do you imagine it being completely different? What does life look like?
I think it's going to be very different. It's going to be more Cincinnati-esque, I would say. We were a run-first team. We run the ball in the first down too many times. It got predictable. I feel like we'll be more balanced, maybe more pass heavy. We'll be more spread out. We're going to use Tajay Spears as a nice receiving back. So I think what Cincinnati looks like will be kind of close to that.
And we didn't have this one written down, but I do want to just ask, is there anybody in the draft coming up, especially an offensive skill position, maybe that you're like, this is our guy. This is who we have.
It's tough. I feel like our new regime, I think by hearing the interviews and the scouting combine, that they want to go for a receiver. They want scoring. They want this. So I'm like, if Neighbors is there at 7, I would not hesitate and take him. But personally, I would like Joe Alt from Notre Dame. We need that left tackle. We need that start the trenches. We need that line, because last year Levis had no time at all and was getting crushed back there. And he got injured. And he missed some valuable time as a rookie. So I think building the line is very important.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen it all time and time again of you bring in these, rookie quarterbacks or these young quarterbacks and you don't give them an offensive line. And then it's like within 3, 4, 5 years, they become a shell of themselves because they get almost like PTSD really of, oh gosh, if I don't have this ball out in 3 steps, I'm going to get crushed.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they throw a lot of picks and they're like, well, great. I can't just throw the ball out there because it's going to get picked off, but I'm also going to get crushed.
Yeah. What do I do?
Yeah. And I don't want that to happen to Levis, because I think that he's definitely got that competitive spirit that y'all need at QB.
Yeah.
Or if their mindset doesn't get ruined, they're injured. I mean, look at Joe Burrow, right?
Exactly. It's the worst. Especially for a young player, because it ruins experience. You need those snaps.
So definitely, I mean, I'm all for y'all using the first round pick for a lineman. I think that is on your offense probably the biggest hole.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's also going to help open up that running game now that you don't have Derrick Henry as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And give Tajay Spears some more support, which I'm a huge Tajay Spears guy. I don't know why, but I freaking love Tajay Spears. So I think he could do it. I mean, he just needs a little bit more supporting cast because he's not a Derrick Henry.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to be a Derrick Henry. But man, I love Tajay Spears as well. He's so explosive. You only need one ACL,
Brother, you better knock on some wood. I'll do it for you. There we go.
It's hard to tear one when you don't have one,
Yeah. That's awesome. So we already kind of talked about committing to the rebuild, right? What do you think success for next season will look like for the Titans?
Oh, man, that's tough. I think it's all going to be on Levis. I think it's whatever his progressive is. I feel like that's where it's going to bring us. If he's bad, we're going to go bad. If he's good, he's going to be good. But I would say for the rebuild, I would say right in between. I think maybe 6-11, around there. I would say I don't expect much. I'm not going to put that on myself right now, but
don't want to predict a Super Bowl berth.
Yeah, no. I think it's going to take us a few years just to get in strides and then the offense get the right roster. But I've been through this a few times, so what's another time?
Well, I mean, you never know, though, because we just saw the Houston Texans go from being arguably the worst team in football to winning a playoff game. Yeah. And, I think that I'm not necessarily saying that that's a possibility or anything like that, but I would have more hope going into this season with the new regime if I were y'all. I think that there's a chance that y'all could be, I mean, you can't really do 8-8 anymore, unfortunately, with the 17-game season, but an 8-9. Yeah. Whether if it's 8-9 or 9-8, I think that y'all could get there, truly.
I think it's possible, definitely. Just, it's going to take a bit, I'll admit, when the last draft, I wanted Stroud bad. There was rumors of us trading down to the 3 spot to get him, but probably the Texans heard that. They took him at 2. It was smart, and now he's one of the best rookies ever to play that season. So,
yeah,
I know it sucks that he's in our division. We have to deal with that, but I guess we gotta hope that Levis is pretty good.
It's a fun division, man. Every quarterback's young.
I know. Lawrence, Richardson. Oh man.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be a bloodbath for years.
Yeah. It's gonna be. hopefully we have one to try to compete, because it would be tough to fall behind.
Mm-hmm. So you had also mentioned, Titans again, divisional rivals, all that fun stuff. How do you feel about the Titans embracing the Oilers colors and logo?
I love it,
especially with there being a Houston team.
Yeah, I know. We always get into it. Our fans, their fans, like even on Twitter, it's all about. But I love it, man. Like they didn't support them when they were there, so they moved down here. Amy Adams, she owns the rights, so I don't understand why they're complaining about it, to be honest.
Yeah, talk your shit, Dean.
Yeah,
There you go.
I understand. Like there's no history with the Texans and the Oilers. The Texans was made after the Oilers. They were literally called the Tennessee Oilers in '98. So I don't understand what
all that's about.
They can talk, but it doesn't mean anything. We keep the jerseys, and we look good.
Well, we'll avoid the baiting question in the next one, because the next one is about how you feel about Houston fans, but you kind of already handled that one.
There were some normal one, but there's the other one that are just like, they're never gonna get it,
As someone from the city of Dallas, I can just let you know, it's not that Houston fans are bad. It's just people from Houston.
I mean,
everyone from the city of Houston, they just suck. They do.
Yeah.
I feel bad because one of my really good friends we're going to be interviewing here probably later this week, and he's a Texans fan, and he's also an Astros fan, and I talk so much shit about
that's awesome.
about that. Yeah, no. Yeah. So it's I don't think that it's that their fan base is weird. I just think that the entire city is shit.
Yeah, exactly. And I love Stroud, so that makes it even worse. I hate the fans.
I know.
I love Stroud.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't really talk crap about him because he's nasty.
He's good. Yeah.
I like him. Yeah.
Well, cool. That takes us through all of the questions that we had. Thanks for hanging out with us. Real quick before we go, though, is there anything that you want to plug in? Any social media people can follow you on? Anything like that? Any project maybe you do, or pods, or anything else?
All right. I don't do any pods, but I'm looking to get into it at some point. I'm on Twitter, The Chosen One, with the THA, if you guys want to take a follow. But yeah, I'm a big Titans fan. Any Titans fans listening, be glad to follow, and we can talk about them.
Cool. Well, hey, thank you again for your time. We greatly appreciate it. And everyone, that has been Dean, and he was talking about the Titans. And good luck to y'all next season. I'm excited to see what Will Levis has.
I appreciate it. Me too. Some hope finally.
You're the proud owner of a business, and you've got it all: the hustle, the bustle, and the occasional office kitchen mishap that turns into an alarm-triggering emergency.
Whoa!
But fear not. Western States Fire Protection is here to turn your workplace into a disaster-free zone. Our in-house team handles everything from fire sprinklers to alarms, monitoring, inspections, extinguishers, and more. Visit WSFP.com to request a quote. Because when your microwave thinks it's a flamethrower, we're the heroes you need.
This podcast is sponsored by Hair Club.
Fellas, are you losing your hair? Hairline receding, maybe? In the past, we as men had limited options. We could either rock the grandpa hairline, shave it, or resort to a very obvious-looking toupee. Well, the good news is there's an option for you now. Hair Club is a hair restoration and hair replacement service with offices spanning across the United States. Hair Club is different from other hair restoration places because they use cutting-edge technology like TricoView hair and scalp analysis, utilizing micromagnification to examine hair and scalp health. This provides better diagnostics of your hair and determines solutions to stop your personal hair loss. Solutions range from EXT extreme hair therapy to keep and regrow your existing hair by reactivating follicles and adding volume, X-Strands hair systems that is color and texture matched to perfection to blend with the rest of your hair, or even hair transplant solutions for those who are further along in their hair loss. I personally use the X-Strand system and have never turned back. My wife thinks I'm as sexy as ever and my confidence is at an all-time high, but I'm just a podcaster, right? Well, Hair Club has become such a renowned name that even dudes like two-time NASCAR champion Joey Logano and primetime Emmy nominee Frankie Muniz both utilize Hair Club services. And if you ultimately decide on a service, be sure to use the code FOURTH, that's FOURTH, for 10% off everything you purchase. There's no better time to get your hair back than now. So fellas, boost your confidence, get that look you want. Go to hairclub.com today.
Are you looking for a podcast to advertise your business? Well, you're in luck. Here at the Fourth Down Fiasco, we're looking for show sponsors. Whether you want to be a platinum sponsor and be mentioned at the beginning and end of every episode, or you just want a simple 30 or 60-second ad, we got you covered. If you're interested in having a spot on our show, you can reach us at fourthdownfiasco@gmail.com. That's fourthdownfiasco@gmail.com. We are excited to hear from you and even more excited to have you on the show. Join the Fiasco family now.
And welcome back to our off-season segment, the FANBASE Fiasco, where we give power back to the fans, who are inarguably the most important part of every franchise. And if you don't agree, come see me, because I'm about that action. So, we just heard from Titans fan Dean Costa, and I've decided that it's only fitting to stir the flames a little bit and have a Texans fan rep their set. I'm very excited to bring on the host of the Sinestro Corps podcast, the African James Bond, the king of color people time, who actually wasn't all that late today, Matt Wakhu, aka the Great Blacksby. Say hello to the people for me, Matt.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate that intro, man. What's up, everyone? It's a big honor to be here on the Fourth Down Fiasco podcast. I'm big fan, avid listener. I was actually just listening today before I stepped into the gym. You know, how to get these guns back in check, but
okay, I see.
Gotta get my mind right.
So for everyone who needs a little bit of background, Matt is a huge Houston Texans fan. He's a big fan of everything Texas. And he's on the pod today to talk some ball. And as y'all heard in the first interview of this segment, there is an undisclosed beef between Texans and Titans fans. So my hope is to pour enough gasoline on the fire today that Dean and Matt will want to argue when we bring previous guests back in the preseason. So Matt, I'm just going to go ahead and ask it, as a DFW boy, I got to know, how does it feel living in Dallas's shadow? Not just for football, but for everything.
What?
No response? No response?
Hold on. Time out. In Dallas's shadow?
In Dallas's shadow. You heard me.
Let's look at the facts. 2 World Series, 2 NBA championships, we got more playoff wins than the Cowboys. We got a better soccer team. We got better infrastructure. We got a better mayor. We got a better
soccer team.
Bro, we got me. Like, I'm from Houston. It's done. We got Beyonce. We got Megan Thee Stallion. Houston, top tier, greatest city in the world.
Brother, we got Erykah Badu. We have a real artist in our midst up here. So you already know. And then on top of that, might I remind you, 5 Super Bowls. We are the reigning World Series champions. Don't go there with me. Y'all don't even have a hockey team.
What Super Bowl did you see in your lifetime, my brother?
And we've also won the NBA. We've also won the NBA championship in our lifetime, whereas you don't remember Houston's NBA championship. So don't go there. Don't play with me.
I was conceived off the strength of that championship.
I was conceived off of a Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl. That's not the point here. The point is, if we're looking at body of work.
I don't think we're making any statements that are like holding ground for either of our teams, bro. These old championships.
Bro, the fans at home are probably like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. You're both from Texas. We get it.
Hey, it could be worse. We could be Yankees fans. Let's be proud that we're not part of that diabolical fan base.
Brother, I'm from the South till I die. I might live in Colorado. I might stay in Colorado, but I'm from the South till I die. I ain't never heard of a person who escaped New York that still reps New York, okay? If you leave the black hole that is New York, you don't rep it anymore, okay?
Sensible people.
Sensible people. Hey, so listen, we're going to go ahead and dive into the actual questions that folks want to know. And normally how we start this off is understanding a little bit about fan bases. So I am curious about, well, I know how you became a Houston Texans fan, but for the folks at home who don't know you, how did you become a Houston Texans fan?
All right, man. So the groundwork, bro. So back in the day, we had a team called the Oilers. They left in the late 90s, roughly the time I was born or right before or after, somewhere around there. So when I was born, grew up, there was no Houston football team. All we had was the Cowboys. And I mean, that's it. You kind of hold it down.
We hold it down.
Yeah, they held it down. I'll give them that. But then come around 2000s to 2002, we got word on the street that we're getting a football team in the H, bringing football back to Houston. And, you know, that's big news for a guy like me. I was, 5 years old? I didn't even care. I just knew that this was going to be something special. I was excited that we're getting football back in Houston. I was all in. I was sold from day one. And from that day, I became a Texans diehard fan. I am the CEO of Houston sports. I'm self-proclaimed. It's on my LinkedIn profile. And I love this team. I've loved this team through all the good and, of course, all the bad. I had to be there. You know, if you back out just because you have a couple rough seasons, or 20 rough seasons, if you ask me, you're not a real fan, in my opinion. You know, yeah, right. We in there, brother. Like we're locked in
there, brother. Hey, well, so you mentioned the Oilers' roots. I do have to say that Dean, in our previous interview, mentioned that y'all didn't support them while they were in Houston, so it's only right to let Tennessee have the Oilers colors, right? That is a direct quote.
Bullshit. What connection does Nashville, Tennessee have to Houston Oilers besides the Adams family moving that team to Nashville? Bro, there's no link between Oilers culture.
I'm just saying, there's beef. There's beef there.
Trust me. You've seen my tweets. Me and I'm not even calling them the Titans fans, or whatever you want to call them, Titans brainwashed individuals, misled folks, misguided human beings. I don't even know why they support that dog water team.
Oh,
disgusting.
Jesus Christ. All right. Whew.
Bottom of the barrel squadron. I mean, I give them that they had solid defense here and there, but Derrick Henry, great running back. Who's your quarterback? Who is helping you? Nobody. Word to Keith Sweat. Terrible freaking team. That's all I got to say about that.
I'm so glad to have you on the pod right now. I've been looking forward to this interview for weeks. Dog.
Me too. I've been waiting.
All right. So you grew up in Houston. That's the reason why you're an Oilers fan. Or sorry, not Oilers fan. Wow. A Houston Texans fan, but sure, Oilers. Fuck it. Why not? Right? We out here. But who was your favorite player to watch growing up? Like who was that dude whenever you were a kid?
I'm about to tell you. I'm about to cook, man.
Bars. I'm ready.
We're gonna start at the running back position. Arian Foster, arguably the greatest running back, not just in Texans history, but he's up there in NFL history, bro. Trust me. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. That man could move up and down the field. He's very elusive. A lot of power in his legs. Respect to Arian. He hit the namaste every time in the end zone, and Singletary hit that this year as a respect to my boy. So. The Arian Foster, it's hard to pick a number one player because, you know, you got Foster, Johnson, J.J. Watt's probably my favorite.
I was about to say, you have J.J.
Wow. But, like, I love that we have these players that are eventually going to become, you know, Hall of Famers, going to become legend. Andre Johnson just got selected for Hall of Fame this year. So we're already starting the process, you know? So there's a lot of Houston. Everyone's like, "Oh, y'all are such a young team. You don't have culture. You don't have like the longevity or the history as other fan bases." I'm like, "Yeah, we're the youngest team in the NFL, but guess what? We got some badass players that we've had come through the age, bro. We got more. We got more right now. So I guess my favorite would be, if we're talking about overtime of all time, J.J. Watt. But like my favorite right now, CJ Colbridge, Bernard Stroud. That's my favorite.
Colbridge, Bernard Stroud. The GOAT. Dog, I love it. No, I do love me some CJ. I mean, you and I have talked about how much I do love me some CJ.
Yes, sir.
You know, I think that's something that Houston that I've enjoyed as far as y'all being a franchise is, while the pieces haven't always come together in its entirety, there have just been some real stand-up guys that you're just like, God, I love this guy. Like growing up, I loved JJ Watt. That dude was nasty. I loved Andre Johnson. I thought that dude was nasty. I had Arian Foster in a couple of fantasy leagues at one point, you know? And so, and this sounds bad. I also really liked Matt Schaub. I know I might be one of the only people that was like that, but I enjoyed Matt Schaub. I thought he was fun. I don't think he was good, but he was fun. So, but no, that's yeah. No, trust me.
Matt Schaub was, I don't know. I have very mixed feelings. They're not the greatest of feelings for Matt Schaub, but they're not horrible. I'm not going to say he's a terrible quarterback. It's just he's not. He
was one of those guys that if you had him in fantasy as a late round draft pick, you know, and your quarterback was on a bye week, you're like, hell yeah, dude, I've got Matt Schaub in, bro. I'm about to get 350 yards. Yeah, he gonna throw 3 picks, but he gonna throw 4 tutties guaranteed. You know that.
I mean, he was the bald menace, bro. He was the bald menace. He was skinny Ben Roethlisberger.
Skinny Ben, bro. So just kind of looking at your season as a whole in its entirety, what would you rate the season, A through F, like you were a teacher?
Ooh. So I know a lot of people are I don't want to call them, they're not casual fans. It's great that we're having more people jump on the Texans. Come through if you want to join the Texans bandwagon. I co-sign it, and you know, all that. Yep. But there's folks who are jumping in talking about we just had the greatest season of all time. I'm like, we've had the greatest season in our history, probably, but this is still there's room to work, there's room to grow, There's things to improve on. I would give this season a B+, not an A.
Word.
Just starting from the draft the last year, and you remember we were tweeting about the draft the whole time. I was watching it. My TV fucking cut out in the middle of the draft after we got Stroud and Will Anderson. The TV just stopped working. I was like, bro, can't do this to me. So I was on the phone on the ESPN app reading and refreshing. But starting with our draft this past season, we had a solid draft class. ESPN or whatever, somebody was talking about we had a D rating draft class. I'm like, bro, y'all don't know math. Y'all don't know ball.
Y'all don't know ball?
This is an A+ draft class. I shit you not. And then moving into
especially now, especially in hindsight, it definitely was. Definitely now that we're past the season.
I was a CJ Stroud believer from day one. I said that everyone was like, "Oh, we want Bryce Young. We're gonna get Bryce Young. He's the number one. He's a Heisman. He's number one."
I definitely did talk some shit. I ain't gonna lie. I talked some shit. My bad.
I said no, bro. Bryce Young is gonna fold come NFL. He's gonna get into the league. He's gonna fold. And guess what happened? He went to the Panthers, destabilized fucking organization, and he folded. And it's not really his fault.
I don't even think it's his fault. Yeah.
Him too much. It's not his fault. It's just gonna happen. Now, CJ Stroud, I tweeted from there. I said Stroud is that guy. Stroud is the boy you needed to have on your team. I was telling people at work or some people at the bar. I'm like, bro, CJ Stroud is the guy that thought I was crazy. Now look, I know ball. I've been and CJ Stroud came and carried us the whole season. I'm all hail Christ Jesus Stroud, bro. That's the guy.
Christ Jesus. Hey, that's what CJ stands for. Christ Jesus. Christ Amen. Jesus Stroud, baby. Amen.
Amen.
Let the prophets know.
We moved from the draft to the preseason and the regular season. And I mean, you saw in our football league, I picked up Stroud. And no, I had Stroud in the other league, not our main league, not in the Fresh Street Avengers. In the other league I'm in, I picked up Stroud, and everyone's like, "You picking up a rookie?" I never pick up rookies, by the way. My draft strategy in fantasy is I don't pick up rookies until after their first season, see how they play. This year I took a chance on Stroud and Tank Dell, and guess what? I was balling the fuck out the whole time. You know,
those are numbers.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it was a very exciting season, especially coming off of that dog shit. Last 4 years have been painful for Texas, for the city of Houston in general. The last 4 years have been painful, and watching them just take this team to another level that we haven't seen since the quarterback whose name I will not mention was on our team.
We're really who it is. Who it is. Who it is? This ain't Voldemort. You can say his name.
Christ Jesus has stricken him from the record books. Amen. He's gone. Amen. I'll say it because I'm pretty sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. Deshaun Watson. And I'll be honest, whenever he came to our team at first, it's like, bro, yeah, here we go. We got our franchise monster. Yeah, I didn't know he was a demon. I didn't know he was a heathen. But I thought he was going to be great. I thought we had a bright future. We had some pieces there. We had DeAndre Hopkins. We had great setup for that team, and then shit just imploded, and we were struggling for 4 years, for as long as a presidency, bro. 4 years of worth of hardship, strife, and lots of drinking, lots of whiskey was poured up, and then come 2023, we are saved from the pits of despair. I was so hyped, man. But like I said, there's room to improve. We have things to work on going into 2024. We have a lot of areas to improve on. And it's not like a bad thing. It's like we want to get better. If we want to be a Super Bowl caliber team, which I think we have the potential to be, especially with DeMeco Ryans as head coach. Let me speak on my GOAT right there real quick. One of my favorite defensive players, it's DeMeco Ryans. Also when him and Big Kush, my other GOAT, Big Kush back in the day. Oh my gosh, I loved watching them boys play. Having DeMeco come back and having a defensive-minded coach take this arguably the worst team in the NFL and elevate us to that level, we're set. We're good. No matter what, we could have lost the first round. I'll still be happy. We made it to playoffs. I was just like, man, this is something special. Something special is going down in Houston. So I think B plus. I'll give it just a solid B. Leave some more room for improvement. You know.
So I personally, going into this interview, if I were to grade y'all season, I was going to give it an A-, just for the simple fact that I think that the expectations weren't necessarily as high as they were. I wouldn't say that y'all overachieved. I don't want it to sound like y'all were some princess hoo-ha Cinderella bullshit story or anything like that. Like y'all have dogs on your team. You have your head coach is a dog, an absolute animal at head coach. Okay. But, whenever you are tied for being the worst team in the league, come the draft, at least, for me, it was more of a, dude, if the Texans can just have I know we can't really do 8. I hate not being able to say 8-8 anymore. But 9-8 or 8-9, however the shit falls in a 17-game season, 9-8 or 8-9, that was going to be a dub for y'all. I was thinking, dude, as long as y'all can just be fun, just if you can be a fun team, I think that would be good. And then y'all making the playoffs and winning a playoff game, that to me, I was like, cool. Yep. A- on the season. Yeah, obviously you wanted to do better against Baltimore than you did. It is what it is. I'm not super upset about it. I think that y'all played fine given where y'all are at right now in the franchise. But you brought up a really interesting point that I do want to ask about. So you had mentioned how much you love DeMeco Ryans, and I feel like the general fan base consensus of DeMeco Ryans is that everybody loves it. But would you say that Lovie Smith was kind of shafted a little bit, that only giving him one season to take a team that was already one of the worst teams in the NFL that lost a lot of players and then just, they just weren't a good team. And it wasn't anything that he did. Do you think that he got shafted? Should he get some NFL redemption, things like that? Or do you think that it was the right choice? Obviously it was the right choice, but you know what I mean.
I have no hate for Lovie Smith. I recognize that he was kind of a placeholder, kind of shafted. It's almost like there was no real faith in him. And granted, it's a product of a bad, I won't say bad organization, but like everything was going wrong, over that time period. Mind you, Smith was the head coach of the Bears and the Bucks at some point in his history. But coming to the Texans, inheriting this team from David Culley and just having what's the word I want to use? I want to use words. I don't want to be disrespectful to my team. It was shit, bro. It was shit.
Bro, you can say your team's dog water. That's fine.
We were past tense. We were dog water. But coming off of Bill O'Brien being the coach from 2014 to 2019, 2020. We had Gary Kubiak. We had Wade Phillips. We had God.
Shout out my boy Wade Capers.
Dom Capers, the first coach. The Gary Kubiak years were a very interesting time. Like, we've had a lot of coaches in our little short history, but I feel like Cully, anyone past Bill O'Brien, and it's just Cully and Smith, they were handed shitty cards, and they kind of got the short end of the stick. So naturally, they were going to be the scapegoat for, oh, we suck, or oh, Texans are dog shit, or whatever you want to call it. And it can come down to coaching. It can come down to front office. It can come down to the entire team as a whole. Whatever you want to blame it. But I do agree. He was kind of shafted, but at the same time, I give him a lot of thanks and praise, because if he did not win that last game, we would not have gotten Christ Jesus Stroud on our team. So Lovie Smith, you're good in my book, brother. Unc, you're good in my book, man. Bro. You can come down and crack some beers with me, bro.
Hey, I mean, he did seem like he was somebody's cool uncle. I ain't even gonna lie. I guarantee that man makes a mean brisket. I can tell just by the beard. That man makes a mean ass brisket. I couldn't tell you why, but I can tell you that he does. So you had mentioned, what was that?
Oh, Lovie Smith and I have the same birth date. And I got lots of love for Lovie Smith, bro. I don't have no type of ill feelings for him. I just want to see him get back into. I'm sure he'll eventually get back into a head coaching position. You know how quickly head coaches can get canned in the NFL. So he'll probably make his way back to the league and coach. I don't know who. I don't know which team is needing a head coach right now. There's a couple that already filled their vacancies, but I just think he needs another shot. And he needs the right organizational fit for him in this current juncture. So,
yeah, I think that's fair. I think that he'll do fine with the Fighting Illini. He'll help out the program a lot, because anytime you can get an NFL coach into a smaller NCAA football program like that, it's always beneficial, And I'm with you in that. I know that it was kind of a directed question of, do you think he was shafted? Yes, I think that he was shafted as well. He was dealt arguably the worst hand you can be dealt as a head coach in the NFL. Unless you're coaching the Panthers or the Panthers, honestly. It's hard to have a harder outcome than what Lovie Smith did. But DeMeco Ryans, the culture change that he made was insane. I know that we've talked about kind of some previous moments. What would you say was the height of the season this past season as a Texans fan? What was the best moment for you, whether if it was what DeMeco brought to the table or CJ or whoever else? What was the best moment as a Texans fan?
Folks will mention games and specific moments from games, like CJ getting all his weapons, hundreds of yards each. Bro, that's great. Trust me, I was very hyped. I was like, wow, we're really balling this year. But it's the culture that DeMeco has brought to this team. Even without being in that locker room, I can sense there's an air in that locker room that everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to play for, not just for the Texans, the team. They want to play for the Texans as each other. Their brothers right next to them. They want to play for their coach, their head coach, and they want to do something special as a group. And I think that's something that we've been lacking for quite some time. And part of the reason why we've been dog shit, it's almost like last season and the season before, they really didn't care. They were like, oh, I'm getting a paycheck. I'm still going to play football. I get to do the thing I love, but I'm just getting a check. Now it's like we have heart. We want to take it to the next level. We want to do something big. We want to go to places that we haven't gone before. And I just really admire that. If we're going off of specific games, man, that get back game versus the Browns, that right there.
Boy, that made me a Stroud believer.
I tweeted actually the game before when we played the Colts. you saw I was getting my ass kicked on Twitter, and I was. Guess what? I was right. I said Indianapolis is a weak ass city, and guess what? They are weak ass city. Come see me. Y'all come
lost. See me.
Come see me. Yeah. Guess who was? They were talking about some. Oh, y'all beat us because Gardner Minshew threw it and Richardson didn't catch it. I'm like, okay, but what playoff game are y'all playing right now? Y'all season's over. I'm out here 2 games deep right now. I'm 2 games past the regular season. What y'all doing?
Yeah.
We played the Browns right after that. Throttled the Browns. Got back at them. I tweeted, I said, don't worry, that get back game, we're going to get our revenge. After we lost in the regular season, everyone was like, oh, no, bro. First of all, Browns fans, get off your high horse, bro. Y'all beat us with Davis Mills. Y'all beat us with and love Case Keenum. This is no disrespect to Case. That's my GOAT. He came through when we needed him to come through back in the gap when he was wearing that number 7 jersey. Having him on this team, I guess it's good to have veteran leadership, but you're bragging about beating Case Keenum. Come on, man. Y'all are really tripping. So Browns fans, I'm on to you. No hate, but I'm on to you. So when we came back and beat them in that round, oh my gosh. The way I was hyped, the way I was talking that shit, man, I love it.
My whole thing, whenever you were getting into it with the Colts fans and stuff, is I'm sorry, but 9 times out of 10, the Browns are beating the Colts in that first round playoff game. Whereas, I think that it's truly it was a real 50-50 of who was going to win between you and the Browns. Like it was like we were even on this podcast talking about. That rookie quarterback might just do the goddamn, it was a true discussion of, we're choosing the Browns just because they have players on their team who have been there before, but also we recognize that Houston is a problem. Whereas if the cards would have been dealt differently, where if it was Indianapolis versus the Browns, I'm taking the Browns every time. I'm putting money on the Browns. Yeah,
because you have one of the best they have the best defense in the league. They're ranked first.
They were until Jesus Christ Christ Jesus Stroud came through and put a plague. Stroud, Christ Jesus Stroud came through and placed a plague on the people.
He was out there calming the seas of Galilee. On these mans, bro. He was out here blessing folks. He was making the blind see. It was going crazy, bro.
That's why the rivers in Ohio have all that shit in them and the people are dying.
Yeah.
That's what Christ Jesus Stroud did. Sorry, I'm making way too many references here. My ultra religious family is not going to be super happy that I'm doing this. But
mind you, the Texans were ranked 14th. This season too, somewhere around there. And we did what we needed to do. We came in there with one goal, one mission. Season was 0-0 at that point. It's anybody's game, bro.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's anybody's game. So I was not worried going into that game. I just knew there was a lot at stake, but I was not worried at all. Win or lose, I was not going to be upset. I mean, I was going to be hyped.
Yeah, it wasn't your game to lose. It was definitely the Browns' game to lose, for sure. While we talked about it being 50-50 on the pod, it was Cleveland should, in theory, on paper, should have won that game. They had the veterans to have won that game. They had a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP at quarterback. You can say whatever you want about Joe Flacco. He has that designation as a human being. You cannot take that away from him. And it was their game to lose, and they lost it. And CJ Stroud balled the fuck out. But I do want to transition from the happier moments. I do unfortunately want to bring up some trauma for you. What was the worst season or worst moment of the season for you? What moment made you want to break your TV?
Bro. One was playing in one of them was playing in that dog shit stadium in New Jersey or New York or wherever the fuck it is, MetLife. That was a game where we lost
good old New Jersey.
Everybody was getting injured. The NFL knows what they're doing by not making some kind of regulations against this stadium, some sanctions, bro.
Yeah.
CJ got hurt. I think Nico got hurt that week. There was a bunch of injuries. And like,
I mean, what should have been their Super Bowl winning quarterback and Aaron Rodgers got hurt in the first 10 minutes of the season. You know, it is a dog shit stadium. Bro. It is a dog shit stadium. No, I agree with you.
It is one of the worst. It's arguably like is one of my least favorite stadiums. It is one of the worst places you can play at, and I'm so confused as to why that's the final for the World Cup, the next World Cup. It should have been AT&T.
Yeah, they're fucking Mbappe is going to tear some shit out there, and then the French are going to cause the Americans to close the stadium down. Actually, I'm not going to look because I like Mbappe, so I don't want that to happen.
That's
some of them get hurt.
African king. Yeah, absolutely. Because that stadium is just trash. I can go on and on about how garbage it is. I have a list of stadiums I will just never play sports in, like I'm playing at the professional level, but whatever. That's one of them. That's number one. So just having CJ get injured that game, it really did shake things up for us. But, I knew he was going to come back. He had that little concussion protocol. The NFL concussion protocol now is like, 2 weeks, 3 weeks out? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But I mean, I don't know the rules.
I feel like it definitely threw off the chemistry for y'all season. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily think that, if I remember correctly, I don't think that y'all necessarily did awful afterwards with CJ out, but there definitely was a difference in how the offense flowed. I think that the defense did some carrying for sure, and. It's one of those things where you ask yourself, if CJ hadn't have missed that time, what does that Texans team look like? What if in that second round, because y'all are a higher seed, what if in that second round y'all aren't playing the Ravens and are playing someone else? What does that look like? So it definitely, I do have some questions because of CJ being out for a couple of weeks. Of if y'all had more cohesion as a team, what does that look like?
Yeah, it's definitely a big one of those what if moments. It's one of my least favorite losses of the season. Because, I mean, any loss is sour, but losing to the Jets, bro, to the Zach Wilson-led Jets.
Yeah, couldn't be me.
To Ahmed Gardner. Everyone's trying to tell me Ahmed is a better DB than my GOAT, Derek Stingley Jr., number 24. He's not. He's not. Trust me. I don't care what anybody says. Anyways, that's besides the point. But having that loss 30-6 to the fucking Jets,
rough.
One of the worst days of my life. December 10th, I remember that. I remember that shit, bro. It was terrible. Never again.
I can only imagine.
Especially coming off like we beat the Broncos, we beat the Cards, the Bengals, we beat all these teams back to back, beat the fucking Buccaneers, like, bro. Oh my gosh, like it was just so frustrating. And I know we had lost to the Panthers, which they are the worst team, right? I know that the worst.
But it's division. I give divisional losses a little bit more of an asterisk by them,
Mm-hmm.
Just like if the Cowboys were to ever lose to the Giants or the Commanders or something, I'd say, yeah, that sucks. And that doesn't team. Yeah, I'm not saying sell the team. I'm saying, yeah, they got up to play us. Versus, whenever we lost to the Cardinals this past season, I was like, yeah, sell the team. Sell the entire team. I don't care. But so you had actually brought up a really fun point about comparing DBs, and I am curious, just from the stance of things that you want to see added to your team, whether if it is through free agency or the draft, who do you want? And also maybe another question to tack on to the tail end of that is, do you think that Tank Dell is the true wide receiver one, or do you think that he's more of the slot badass and you bring someone else on the outside? So I guess that's kind of, I hate to ask a double question. That's so bad for journalism, but yeah, is Tank Dell wide receiver one? And also aside from that, who do you want to bring onto the team through the draft and free agency?
I will start with the Tank Dell question because he's not wide receiver one, and that's not because he's not a good wide receiver. It's because we have Nico Collins. Nico Collins is wide receiver one moving forward. He's got talent. He's got the speed. He's got the hands. He is. Okay. I see them sticking. I see him sticking with Nico. simply because, trying to bring in, now granted that could change. I do like Tank Dell a lot. That's one of, like I said, I picked him up in the fantasy league, and I don't pick up rookies. He's special. He's a special guy. He's got mad talent, and God forbid, like if he had not broken his fucking leg, we would have had him during playoff, bro. Tragedy. But yeah, I think they stick with, in the wide receiver position, I think they stick with who we have right now. We have Collins, Dell, we have Hutch, we have Mechie, we have
you got Brown. You got Noah Brown from the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't think he's staying. I don't think he's staying. I'm not sure. No, it's okay. I am not sure if he's staying, but
that was just for fun.
Of course, at the tight end position, we got some more hands too with Dalton Schultz, also from the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, who
also from
big
Dallas Cowboys
in big moments.
No. Give Dalton his props.
Not just for y'all, for us too. Hey, no, he is a just fine. He's a just fine tight end. I do wonder though.
Y'all got Fergie. Fergie's good. Love Fergie.
No, I love me some Fergie for sure. I do wonder with the Tank Dell versus Nico Collins conversation. Again, you had mentioned him getting injured and everything. And, I think the way that I view Nico Collins personally is Nico Collins would be a fantastic wide receiver too. I think if he is your franchise second guy, that is great. I don't think that he is a big moments type of dude, whereas Tank Dell, if you give him any type of space to move, to wiggle, if you give him a chance to make a play, he could take it 99 yards to the house, and you might blink your eyes and say, am I fucking stupid? How did that happen? And you don't quite get that out of Nico Collins. But, I do wonder if adding someone in the offseason like a Mike Evans or a more veteran wide receiver on the outside could really offset Tank when he comes back and he's healthy to do big things.
I'm there with you. I've been flipping back and forth between what we need with the off-season signings and free agency. Getting like Mike Evans on the team, and I love Mike Evans. Bro went to Ball High School in Galveston. We beat them. We beat them a lot.
I was waiting for it.
We beat them a whole lot, but that's no shade to Mike. Mike's a good ball player. He went to Texas A&M, gig 'em, or whatever they say. I'm not from A&M. I want Mean Green. Go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green. Shout out to them Eagles. Call, motherfucker. You heard me.
Big Eagle gang in the cut. But yeah, Mike went to A&M. Watch him ball out there in the Manziel era. Bro was going crazy, and then he went to the NFL. He's got a Super Bowl championship with the Bucs. He's arguably one of their best receivers. In not just in the current team, but I want to say in history, he's great. He's a solid guy. I like him.
Gosh, yeah.
I think he would be great he'd be great to add to the team. But again, the issue is that we already have, Nico Collins, Dell, all those other guys I mentioned earlier. I'm like, where would he fit into the scheme that we don't already have something, So it's kind of I don't know. It's a really hard decision.
You want the younger guys to develop for sure. But to me, I almost see him as like a stopgap. You sign him to a 2-3 year deal, something where you say, hey, here's your guaranteed money. Yes, you will be at least coming in wide receiver 1. And I've heard that he's such a good culture guy that, dude, I think that Nico Collins and Tank Dell both could learn so much from him that honestly, just his veteran presence would make those two guys so much better than what they are. And not saying that they, because they both have great potential, but I think that he would bring so much to the table as a mentor, especially to a very young team and a very, very young offense, a young head coach too, that I think that they would develop vastly beyond what they would without him. And because I've heard the argument that Texans fans have that if you bring on Mike Evans, it's going to take away snaps and catches from Nico and Tank. And I get Yes, especially in that first year, it probably would. But I think as development continues, those guys would learn so much from him that they would go from being, they're going to be good wide receivers to, these two dudes could be great, all tiny wide receivers. Because Mike Evans has that type of long-term production that he, even though at one point in his life he was a freak athlete, he's not anymore. He's just a normal. He's a professional athlete, but a normal professional athlete that relies heavily on he is smarter and more polished and more dedicated and more willing to do things. That's why Tom Brady loved him so much. Tom Brady came in, Tom Brady had the pedigree of, I'm the GOAT. You will listen to every word I said, say. And there were guys on the team who were like, dog, I don't know how I feel about this. This guy's just going to come in here and tell us how it is. And Mike Evans was like, yes, dog, spoon feed me that shit. Whatever you got, I'm about it. I want that. And I think that, Nico, Tank, and even CJ are so young in their careers that they're willing to be a sponge like that. I think that if you have an older dog on your team like that, I think that you could make a dynasty with those guys if you bring on Mike Evans versus I think that you could still win a Super Bowl without Mike. But I think that the long-term ramifications, long past Mike is gone, would be so incredible. The payoff would be insane.
Here's my little what if. What if we had kept Hopkins instead of trading him away for a damn bag of peanuts? Having Hopkins in this scheme, having Hopkins in this team. This is a guy who wants to win. I had him as the number one receiver in the NFL.
It's the same way.
I had him for a while. There was like, this is the number one receiver in the NFL, bro. He's got hands. He can pull in the ball. It's like he's sucking the ball in with like some fucking vacuum powers. He's great. Yeah. And then we sent him to the fucking Cardinals for hopes and dreams.
And he's wasted. And he's being wasted over there. Yeah, no, it is the exact same thing.
He's just saying he's being wasted in Tennessee with that dog shit ass team, but it's too late now, whatever.
Yeah, no, it 1,000%. Like if you were to copy and paste, Hopkins into that same role, I think it would be the same way. I think that, it's just frustrating because it's like, damn, dog, I would love to see DeAndre Hopkins on a CJ Stroud team,
It's just it's hard to balance where we're like, do we build and make Nico become the veteran? I know he's only year 3 into his career, but you got Mike who's been here for how many years? 8?
Yeah.
Something like that.
So
it's a really interesting conundrum. The front office has a big task ahead of them coming in with this free agency. And I mean, Nick Caserio, that's my GOAT, bro. That's my general, bro. That boy is he cooked last year. I have faith in him. He's going to cook again. We're fine.
I see
whatever decision they make, I'm okay with it. I'll support. Where I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen is the draft. What do the Texans do in the draft? What do we need from the draft? I feel like we could go. We have the 23rd pick in the draft, right? Right, 23rd from the Cards.
Yeah, it's a later. Yeah.
So a lot of good picks are going to go away. I would love to have Marvin Harrison Jr. on my team, but I think he's going to go to, I don't know, someone, whoever has the second pick. I don't even know the draft order right now. I just know Caleb Williams is going number 1 to the fucking Bears. That's all I know.
God bless his soul.
It would be cool to have like Odunze or Harrison Jr. on the team. It's not going to happen. So where do we focus? Where do we turn our focus to? We need a running back, and we need we need to beef the O-line a bit and throw some defensive pieces in there, right? But how do you accomplish all that? Because free agency, everyone's talking about we're going to get Saquon Barkley, we're going to get Mike Evans, we're going to get this. I'm like, there's so much at play right now, and I haven't had time to sit there and come with like a final, this is what I think we need to do. But I do agree that we should pick up those 3 pieces I mentioned within the draft. We could also benefit. I mean, like I said, I mentioned Dalton Schultz earlier. We need someone who can do well on the pass block, the pass protection Because like, bro,
Schultz is he's only a catcher. He don't block.
Yeah,
he only a catcher.
Like we need someone and this is again no disrespect to Schultz. I love Dalton. He's great, but we need him to either evolve into that person who can block real well, or we get someone like Noah Fant from the what's that team? Oh, your boys down there in Mile High, the Broncos.
Don't call them my boys. That's not my team. Don't call that dumpster fire of an organization. Don't put that on me.
Yeah, if we can get someone who can, like Noah Fant's great. He can block and make catches when needed. So we either need to train. Either need to train. Oh, he's not even for the Broncos anymore. My bad. It's for the Seahawks.
Oh yeah, he was on Seahawks. Worse. Yeah, you're right.
Even worse. Even worse team in my opinion.
Nah. Denver's a dumpster fire right now. I'd much rather be on the Seahawks. But I mean, no, you're 1,000% right. And the thing about Schultz is the only way Schultz tries when he tries to. He tries. He is a catching first tight end, and because of that, he is undersized, as are most catching first tight ends. And because of that, he gets bullied in the pass game whenever he needs to block. And so I think that if he gains weight, which is really the only way that he would become a better blocker, because his form's not bad. I've seen film on him. His form's not bad. He's just undersized. And as soon as he gains weight, then he's not going to be the same threat that he is in the pass game. And so, I'm with you on that I think having a 2 tight end set would be great for y'all. You mentioned linebackers, and I was watching some draft stuff from the other day, some combine stuff. And dog, there are some nasty, freakishly athletic linebackers who are coming out this year that, boy, I mean, there are some dudes that I've got on the Cowboys list, but if y'all need a linebacker, the linebacker draft this upcoming year is deep. And so I think, if y'all could pick one up in the first round, do it. If there's not any linebackers and y'all want to go the wide receiver route instead, I'd love to. I mean, I keep throwing him around for every team, honestly. But old boy from the Longhorns, Xavier, dog, he is. Oh yeah. He can offset any offense. Truly, he has that type of wiggle room and speed, game-breaking speed that you put him on any team, he's going to make a difference, and he's going to be there probably late first round, maybe even early second round if he slides, just because he's undersized. But I think that this draft is going to be incredibly crucial for y'all, because I think that y'all are closer to win now mode than we all predicted y'all to be. Because your head coach is such a fucking dog and can maximize potential, and your quarterback is a dog and can maximize potential. So, listen, I got one more question for you. As far as team structure, what success looks like this upcoming season, because I would presume success looks like going further in the playoffs than you did. Like, just making the playoffs is no longer success. Getting to a championship game is now success, correct? I'm not crazy in that? Okay.
Getting to the AFC championship and then winning that bitch is goal number one.
That is goal number one. Yep.
That is goal number one. I posted this I'm pulling it up so I can say exactly what I posted. One of my teachers from high school commented on it. I thought that was pretty funny. But I posted on Facebook and I said that, man, where'd it go?
Can't even find his own shit, man. Bro.
I'll be posting too much. I need to get off the apps.
Chronically online.
Low key, might be. Oh, here it is. I said that. Maybe a little bit, maybe too much. I said that our keys to success are we need to get Saquon or Mike Evans or someone through free agency, have another stellar draft class, and I mentioned preferably some OL and some defensive players, because we have Christian Harris, we have Henry. I'm not going to butcher your name, my brother. 202. My Samoan brother.
Do that.
I'm just so sorry, man. And then Jake Hansen. We have those.
What kind of African are you?
I can say African names, bro. It's not hard for me.
I don't know. You were struggling there.
That's not an African name. That's a Samoan name, I think.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
My bad.
But yeah, we have Henry, we have Christian, we have Jake Hansen. Of course, on defensive line, we have, Will Anderson, Malik Collins, all these guys. Malik Collins has been here for a good minute too. But like we need to add some correct pieces. We got Jimmy Ward on our team. Jimmy Ward he's great. He's brought I almost forgot. Bro, Big Cash, my GOAT. Blake Cashman, bro, and Grenard, my other favorite defensive end. He's an unrestricted. They're free agents. This right now they're free agents. So I'm like, we need to find a way to retain them, and then just draft the right pieces. You know what I mean? So we shall see what they do going forward.
This offseason for y'all is crucial.
Yep. We also need to get a better physical training staff. I put that on here too, because the injuries this season. Fucking crazy. we can't have this shit happen, bro. We need to get that shit together. You can blame
some of that on MetLife, but
MetLife is where a lot of our injuries did come from.
I was gonna say, hey, you could blame about half of them injuries on MetLife. But no, I mean, yeah, this free agency is definitely crucial for y'all. Honestly, over Saquon. I mean, while selfishly, I would love to see Derrick Henry come to the Cowboys. Dog, if y'all could catch Derrick Henry in that backfield, y'all may not even need to draft a wide receiver. You would be so stacked on every side of the offense. It would be disgusting. I would be appalled to see y'all whenever we see y'all. And then of course,
just despite those losers from Nashville, it would be great to take him from their team. They're gonna be like, "Oh, y'all getting our sloppy seconds, blah 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 blah." Y'all got Hopkins. We can take that from y'all.
Sloppy seconds would still get y'all 1,300 yards. 10 to 12 touchdowns, maybe a couple of receiving touchdowns too. Shit would be disgusting.
I just think the main thing would be to get the O-line to be able to help make the run game happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need
linebackers and O-line. I think are important.
It would help with the running game and help with the pass game greatly, because that's one of the big things I noticed this season.
That playoff game that y'all lost, it was evident in y'all's game against Baltimore that you need help on the offensive line for sure. But so last question, and this is more of a fun one, so you don't really have to put your thinking cap on for this one. But as y'all are getting prepared for a true contention push, which congrats to y'all for being at that stage a lot quicker than you should be. Who from the Houston Texans past would you love to copy and paste onto this team that you think, hey, this guy would put us over the top?
Jeez, that's a tough one, because again, those folks I mentioned at the beginning, Watt, Foster, Andre Johnson, and of course I mentioned DeAndre Hopkins too. Any of them added to this roster would be insane. Having JJ play with Will Anderson Jr., which JJ tweeted, he's like, I'd come back to play with this team, or he said something to that effect.
I would love to see it.
My agenda is to get him to come out of retirement. We're gonna make him do a Tom Brady and come out of retirement and play for the Texans, because, bro, having JJ Watt and Will Anderson Jr., number 99 and Area 51 teaming up, that's just gonna look like Goku and Vegeta. It's gonna look like Batman and Robin, but they're both Batman. It's gonna go crazy, absolutely crazy. Or even having Prime Foster running through the field like that. CJ handing the ball to him, Foster making plays, Foster getting open for passes, bro. It would be crazy. It would be crazy, because that's one of the things we did. I talked about this in the Texans group chat with the boys. We were talking about how we love Singletary and everything, but we need someone who can also help establish the passing game too, help spread the field a little bit, get that ball, catch that ball.
So who's the guy?
Motor can do it.
So who is the one player? You've given me like 4. Who is the one player you would copy and paste onto the team?
Oh man.
Make a decision.
Oh, man.
Whatever the gut reaction is.
Foster.
Foster.
No, wait.
No, you said Foster. Foster. Cool. We going with it.
I'm thinking.
You're thinking Matt Schaub?
No, absolutely not. Never that. We're one thing that we're set at for right now for the draft is quarterbacks. We don't need another quarterback. We are good. If anything,
barring any type of injury, yeah, you're good.
If anything, I would set up a trade package to send Davis Mills somewhere and get someone reliable, because I don't know. I still have very mixed feelings about Davis Mills. So we need someone reliable to back up CJ in case CJ's out, he needs to be on rest or whatever. Or
so
we need someone to come in the third or fourth quarter.
Schaub is what you're saying. You haven't answered the question, Matt. Who are you going to copy and paste, Matt?
As a defensive player myself, I'm biased, and I want to say J.J. Watt.
Okay. Honestly, that in my opinion, that's the correct answer here. That is a generation.
There's just a myriad of players. There's a cornucopia of players that I really enjoyed watching play over the time. And then these are guys I grew up watching too, because they played from when I was in middle school up until when I was getting ready to go to college. So it's hard to pick just one, hard to choose just one. I could have said Brian Cushing too, because Cush was a monster. Big Cush, that's my dog. He's a real warrior. Bro would be headbutting people with his helmet off. He's crazy. Andre Johnson, a dog, absolute dog on the field, off the field. He's a great man. Like I said, Foster. And I'm sure there's others in there too I can mention. Oh, what's my dog's name? Oh, what's that tight end? It's not Kevin Walter used to play. Who else? I'm just going to start naming random people. Blake Jarwin, I think he's still on the team. There's just random people I just know. Random, what's it called? Random Texans players just from history that I just know off the top of my head. Some people got to be on the Madden roster looking that thing up. No, I just know because I seen it in real life, bro. I seen it.
You've seen it.
I seen it.
Well, hey, that takes us to the end of our interview. Matt, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I mean, you my boy, really. Thank you just for hanging out with me. Aside from the people, I always enjoy talking to you. But real quick before we end the show, social media that you want to plug, what you got, so people can follow you, follow your podcast as well.
Oh boy. So we're gonna start with my social media. It's all kind of the same now. I've changed all the names to the same thing. It's at BL capital B lowercase LVCKSBY_. That's Blacksby with a V instead of an A. I think on my Instagram and everything is the same thing. And then, of course, follow the podcast at the Sinestra Corp. It's at Sinestra Corp, no S, because somebody will not relinquish the name with the S. So they took that from me. I'm going to find a way to get it back. So it's at Sinestra Corp, at capital C, lowercase INESTRO, capital C, lowercase ORP on all platforms. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify. And we have an episode where Jordan dropped by to drop some knowledge on us.
I sure did.
So,
hey,
I'm sure we'll have him drop by again.
I was about to say, I'm about to watch Dune 2 this weekend. So, I know that y'all got to talk about it on the show. If y'all want me to swing by, I can swing by.
Slide you in there, bro. We're going to have a Dune chat, little Dune chat,
Hell yeah,
we're talking
brother.
about, hopefully we'll be talking about Dune next episode. We're working on switching to another streaming platform, another recording platform. And once we get that done, we got the green light to go. Green light to greatness, man. We'll get it cooking.
Hell yeah. Well, cool. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for everyone who has joined us in this podcast and these interviews up to this point. Shout out to both the Titans and Texans fan bases, even though that there is some undisclosed beef, and we're excited to have them definitely whenever preseason rolls around. And we'll get some arguments going, get some shit talking. But until then, we'll see y'all next week. Thanks.
Appreciate y'all.
Well, I like school, and I like football, and I'm gonna keep doing them both because they make me feel good.